Hello, my name is Nathan Deachin, and this is my ethical dilemma scenario. The scenario I chose was scenario 2, and I'm going to overview the scenario and then I'll get into the paper. I chose scenario 2, which puts me in as a corrections officer, and my partner gets into a dispute with an inmate, and both the inmate and my partner are yelling and using profanity. My partner ends up writing a misconduct report for the inmate's behavior, and later on I'm called in to the hearing as a witness for both sides. As stated in the Code of Ethics, officers are not to allow their personal feelings to influence their decisions. In this case, the officer failed to control his emotions, which led to an outburst at an inmate, which is a clear violation of the Code of Ethics. This code is important because officers are supposed to be neutral and have the power to enforce laws. If officers were to allow their emotions to control them, it would lead to injustice and poor work ethic. This code is extremely important and is fundamental in a good police officer. In this situation, my values may be conflicted because all of us let personal feelings show at some point, but the best decision is to be honest and take whatever punishment is given. My decision-making process would be the separating of the officer and inmate as soon as I could. I would do this because I think it'd be important to get them separated as soon as possible for the purpose of getting into less trouble, and the officer would most likely get less of a punishment if I pulled him away quickly. And at the hearing, I would be honest and I would try to remain neutral about both sides, but it would be very difficult to do just because I feel that my fellow officer would think I betrayed him, and it may hurt my reputation with other officers, but it's the right thing to do. I would behave ethically because I would be honest about the whole situation, and I would remain neutral towards both sides. And legally, I believe I would have also acted correctly by breaking up the argument as well as being honest during the hearing. Some societal issues could potentially impact my decision, basically by making me more careful on how I act during the situation, and basically making me more careful about what I do and what I say. And potentially the issues, like if the societal issue is really high, it could cause a lot more pressure on the department, and the disciplinary action taken by the department could be more severe. And some ethical challenges that would arise for me in this situation are the fact that my fellow officer asked me to corroborate their story, which I most likely wouldn't do, but it would be an ethical challenge that I would have to face in this situation. Another ethical challenge would be the fact that the inmate is only going to benefit from the situation where my fellow officer and I are most likely going to be punished, and a potential loss of a job depending on the social influences surrounding the case and what was said by my fellow officer. My original paragraph was that the situation would be extremely difficult, but telling the truth would be the best option available. Both sides were at fault, and the problem can be resolved, but if the officers involved start lying, there will be harsher consequences and more ethical issues to deal with. A lot of correctional facilities have cameras and audio placed throughout the building, so it's most likely that they have some form of the altercation on file already. It would also be best for my partner to tell the truth and apologize for the incident, because he may get into some trouble, but if he's caught lying, the consequences could get much more severe. I still agree with my first paragraph, but I think it was missing depth and could be explained more thoroughly looking back at it. The biggest thing missing in the first paragraph would be the ethical challenges I would face and how those could cause me to falter on making the right decision. Overall, I think that by being honest about the whole situation and by working towards de-escalating it as it started, and by separating the inmate and my officer, that would be the most optimal choice in this scenario. It would also be good to talk to my partner afterwards and tell him to be honest and to tell the truth, not to worry so much about the punishment, because it would get worse if he lied about it and asked me to lie, because I'm going to be honest about the whole situation. And I think it wouldn't be worth it to lose both of our jobs over an argument with an inmate. My reference or my visual aid for this presentation will be Serpico. I am using it for another class, but I also think it's very important when talking about ethics and criminal justice, because this book covers a lot of different ethical scenarios that Serpico had to face while he was a police officer, and it really shows how much of a difference that one decision you make, how far it can go, how much it can change, and this book really shows how important ethics are in the criminal justice field. Thank you.